Konavle, the southernmost part of Croatia, is a harmony of man's life, nature and rich heritage. It is hard to assert that nature has been so generous and lavishly favored this valley with its gifts even more than someplace else. But when it comes to Konavle, it is evident everywhere, from the southern parts being dashed with splashing of the sea against the shore, where the open Adriatic is at its deepest, across the low relief covered with lush vegetation in the hinterlands all up to the mountain massif of Snježnica. Cavtat is the cultural and tourist center of Konavle, a medieval townlet stretches today onto the coastal part of the two peninsulas of Rot and Sustjepan. Quite a number of people will consider Cavtat as the small Dubrovnik, referring to its authentic part, which was built fully respecting the urban, habitual proceedings of the time of its origin. This has been witnessed even today by the narrow lanes vertically ascending from the shore, has taken care of all those who wish to listen to the romantic calm, along with the smell of the sea and the sound of the maestral landward breeze. The 5 kilometers long walkways alongside the seashore, the secluded coves, are the places with an affording view of the most beautiful natural stage, the sun and the sea blending into the Cavtat twilights. Just a few kilometers south from Cavtat, passing by the airport, which has greatly contributed to the development of the region, one can reach Cilipi, a settlement which has been presenting and keeping the cultural identity of Konavle for centuries. The magnificence and beauty of the national costumes of Konavle, the folk dances and the sound of tamburicas interpreted by the young girls and boys from Konavle are the Sunday folklore performances events taking place in the vast square in front of the Church of St. Nicholas. The selection of handicrafts and the genuine Konavle embroidery adorning the national costumes is made by skillful fingers of the Konavle women, passing from one generation to another, and its fine execution wouldn't allow for mistakes. The tradition of obtaining the silk from the silkworms is kept in the same way. For months the silkworms are bred at the precisely determined temperature in the family houses of Konavle. Upon a certain period of time the white cocoons begin to appear. The skillful women's fingers pulling the thin threads of the precious filament used for embroidering the Konavle embroidery. The regional house is located in Cilipi as well, a collection presenting the cultural historical development of Konavle all in one place. Between Cavtat and the peninsula of Prevleka, a fisherman's settlement, Molunat, has developed into a small port in a cove guarded by the two islets from the seaside. In this preserved natural environment, the modern tourist trends are respected, those that do not allow for overusing the natural environment. The family houses are the only type of building that offer accommodation in their deluxe beds and breakfasts. The existing camp accommodates people who enjoy close touch with nature. Leaving the coastal part towards the inland of Konavle, gentle landscapes appear in these lively, picturesque villages and hamlets, rich in rural architectural heritage. One of them is the complex of the Franciscan monastery in Pridvorje, with the Church of St. Blaise from the 15th century. It is a place of pilgrimage and worship to all accidental tourists or for those planning to travel. The rector's palace is located just up above, with a view overlooking the entire valley of Konavle. In the oasis of unspoiled nature, amid the harmony of mountains, fields, the sea, a small river Ljuta meanders its way. Its rapid stream keeps moving the blades of the mills in motion, grinding the grain which still remain witness of the time gone by. Konavski Dvori, the getaway for all gourmets, is just there next to the murmur of the river. Smoked ham and cheese, meat and potatoes baked under the well, crème caramel and local wine is just one among the offered menus at Konavski Dvori. Great number of family farmsteads open their doorways to all travelers wishing to be introduced with the origins of the identity of this region. In the ambience of the old stone wine cellars with the scent of the past, you are received as a guest, but you are to leave as a friend. The tables full of delicacies, prepared in an organic manner. You will get to know the lifestyle of a Konavle family and enjoy Dalmatian music. All the wealth of its heritage and the life of the Konavle people over the centuries has not always been an easy one. Here, at the dividing line of Eastern and Western civilization, and the peasants of Konavle are just some of the motifs presented by the naive artist Mio Shisha Konavljanin. His native house and the studio in Mihanici is a real Garden of Eden, from which emerge the precious canvases of the Konavle naive art. Young people stay in Konavle as opposed to other places which are abandoned by the young people. Many of them are dedicated to services in tourism, as they have realized what their commitment is, to offer at least one part of the beauty of the area. So a young family decided to show their Konavle to the tourists in a different way, from a different angle, taking part in a jeep safari. The drive on the mountain paths in the jeeps across the dynamic and gentle landscapes will offer a special pleasure. But if you are not willing to accept this adventure, you can enjoy the unspoiled nature in yet another interesting way. It is the recreational riding on the bridle path beyond the Konavle cliffs between Radovčići and Popovići. For all those wishing to enjoy the nature, hiking is another possibility. The pathway, which has a starting point from Gornji Obod above Cavtat, in about 90 minutes you can reach the village Velido, where you can relax in the restaurant Konavlski Komin and taste the local dishes prepared in traditional way. Alongside this pathway there is rare protected flora and fauna. It ends up on the peak of Stražišće with a memorial cross dedicated to the memory of the perished members of the American delegation that came on an assistance mission to Croatia in 1996. There is another somewhat easier trail for the convenience of less experienced hikers. It connects Cavtat and Cilipi in its coastal strip. It is hard, practically impossible, to enumerate all the splendors and particularities of the area, rich in its Mediterranean fragrances and proud of its traditions, recognizable by its architectural heritage and for the beauty of the women's folk costumes. Come and discover them. The cordial host will offer all their unselfish, generous attention. Welcome.